Taryn, my heart. Tara Bear, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing really well. And, I love it when we have a guest on Roxtalks. It's always fun,
Yes.
especially a
Yes.
return guest. Hello. Hello.
Ooh, who's coming on today?
The magnificent Minessa Konecky, I like to call Ness because,
Love them.
yeah, we used to have the Rox and Ness show. So you probably have heard of Minessa on the podcast before. Was a top top network marketer for LuLaRoe. So, there was a lot of bank that was made there.
Oh yeah.
Coached to lots of network marketers galore for a long time, also research administrator, and all about just like really wonderful human, honestly, fantastic human.
Yeah.
So Nis and I talk about once a week. And last week we were having this conversation, or 2 weeks ago, we had this conversation about AI. You know how I feel about AI.
I know you won't even talk to about AI with me. You're like, nope, we're not doing it. We're not talking about it. So I'm curious what you guys talked about.
Get me on a treadmill and I start talking about my feelings about it. And so as I was doing this, and we have different opinions about it, we just had a really great conversation about what it's going to be doing for network marketing, what it's doing right now for direct selling. And I said, you know what, you just got to come on. We need to have this conversation with Tara Bear. And so we're going to do it.
Awesome. Let's do it. Let's go.
So Minessa, always good to see you. You don't need an introduction, but we gave you one anyway. But let's just dive right into life. Like, you and I were chatting the other day about AI, and I love it because you and your sister had just been chatting about AI. And backstory, Taryn has been like, Roxanne, just like that. That's how she talks. Roxanne, we got to talk about AI and chat GPT and how it works for network marketers. And I'm like, no. I feel like I've become this like old crotchety, like curmudgeon, like a laggard, if you know my STV method. And that is not what I am. But I am also not an early adopter, and there's reason for it. So let's have this discussion about how does AI work in the network marketing space, and why are people so excited about it, and why are people so like crotchety about it? Discuss. I feel like I'm who's like coffee talk. AI is either
coffee
good
talk. Oh
or
my God,
either
coffee
bad.
talk. Or you remember in Living Color, it's the 2 snaps and
a Z formation.
Love it. Oh my God, loved it.
Yeah.
So, I think my sister and I were talking about this the other day because we're both research administrators, and, we were at a conference where they were talking about ChatGPT being used, to, write papers or write grant submissions and things like that. And we started talking about it. And I was surprised to find that she was totally not into this whole AI ChatGPT thing, because I thought we both were going to be on the side of we can totally use it for these great ways. And here's how you can leverage it. And we ended up having this conversation, and, where she was all, we decided we wanted to talk about it. But then as you and I were talking, I was surprised again to find so many people who I thought would sort of agree with me, because obviously, why wouldn't you? I'm right. Obs. But I loved it. I loved it because I feel like these are the moments in network marketing where it's time to have these conversations so that people can decide whether or not something is right for them. I think that in any time something comes into network marketing, the first response is fear. It always is. It always is fear. And then oh my God, how is it going to take away from what we're already doing? And I think that's a human response, but I think it's amplified in network marketing. But I think that with coaches and trainers and conversations like this, we can open up avenues for people to start to see how they might leverage it. So for example, I guess my first question would be, because just as part of the conversation, is what about it turns you off?
What turns you on? What turns you off, Roxanne?
Well, we'll talk about what turns you on later.
It is not fair. What turns me off is this. Okay. Network marketing is about that personal relationship.
Yeah.
And the thing about it is, as network marketers by design, we know how to take something and we just use and abuse the crap out of it. Like, we take it and it's like, oh, there's a reason that network marketers are not allowed on a lot of email platforms, because we abused it.
Yeah.
Yes. And
We
there's
take
laws
that.
against
We
doing it.
love a good script.
Yes. And we will
And send it
show
to
you
everybody.
everybody.
Like, oh my God, people we haven't talked to in 4 years.
Or ever talk to.
Rock
Ever.
on, how you doing?
We joke, but we're serious. And so like when I see something like this, I'm like, oh, here we go again. And I've had talks with corporates, network marketing corporate side, and with distributors, whatever you want to call yourselves, about this exact thing. And it's like, the thing is this. Yes, there's this new cool thing, and I can say, write me a script about that I should use to reach out to people about buying, or write me some social media. But y'all, I need you to know it's like a machine. Like, think about it like a sausage maker. Like, if you put shit inside of it, it's only going to give you shit out.
Yeah.
Nobody
And
wants
that's
a
my
shit
fear.
sausage.
That is actually my fear, right? So like when I said that
Yeah.
it's fear-based, that's my fear. My fear, I think everyone's fear is different. My fear is exactly what I've seen happen so many times, and you've seen it as well, where the new hotness comes and people think that simply by using the new hotness, so I'm going to grab ChatGPT, I'm going to have it write me a social media post. Simply by using that new hotness, I'm going to be able to exploit it and leverage it to be able to get the results that I want
Quickly.
And I think that is really where the problem comes in, is that just like anything else we've seen coming in, like Facebook is a really good example, right? Facebook is a very powerful tool, but we have seen firsthand how an individual can go destroy their algorithm, destroy their sales, destroy everything by using it incorrectly, because they thought that simply using the tool was enough. And it's not. You actually have to go back to what you were saying, Roxanne. Actually, I'm not sure you said it in this one, but you've definitely said it before, is that, network marketing is about building in relationships, right? And so if I just simply write something in ChatGPT and be like, oh yeah, I wrote that, and then I said it and forget it, I'm not going to get the same, I'm not going to get any results. And meanwhile, Julia over there is doing the same thing. She's posting ChatGPT posts, but she is seeing success. So the question then would be, is what is creating that success for Julie versus this not creating the success for me?
She's not putting poop in. And here's let me go one step. It's like the thought of having, like, we love as a culture, and especially as an industry, we love get rich quick.
Yeah.
We want to go to the top
Yes,
of
we
our
do.
company, be the top of the rank, get the prizes and the trips. We want to do that quickly. And so when we see something like Chat GPT or AI, we're like, yes, it'll help. I can speed it up. It'll get me there fast.
Yeah.
But the thing is, y'all, and I don't know, listen, this is me like getting wisdom in life, I guess. The life wasn't meant to be lived so quickly. Life wasn't meant to be like, okay, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. It really wasn't. And so we wonder why we don't get the results that we want when we're rushing the whole process, when we're trying not to learn the lessons we need to learn, because the lessons are really what gets us to where we need to go.
Yeah.
Then that's when we're putting crap into great, I can just make my social media posts, or I can just have my language for whatever for my business and swoop it through Chat GPT, not realizing that you still haven't learned. It's like taking an exam, but like getting the cheat sheet to the exam. And you're like,
Yeah.
okay, I got it. Except it's even worse because the cheat sheet is not even right. So you're literally like going, okay, great. I'm just gonna put some information there. I've got a product. I want to sell it. I'll give it a couple of details. And what spits out, and I see it all the time, is junk.
It's
Is
absolute
junk.
So I use this AI software. It's a Discord AI, and it's designed for art, so you basically put in, and I'm trying to, earlier on before we started, we were talking about the Borg, and when I meditate, I have this vision of myself sitting in a little Borg egg, and it's a very specific vision that I would love to be able to
Star Trek reference, by the way, everyone.
Star Trek reference for anyone, Star Trek fan here. And really it doesn't matter what it is, but it's a specific vision I'm trying to bring to life using this AI artist, and it's brilliant, this artist, right? However, I've been trying to design it for a while, because in order for me to get exactly what I need to put in the exact right content to be able to get the picture that I'm looking out, and I haven't quite yet figured it out. So it's becoming like a longer paragraph saying, put a baby me in a cube doing this, doing that. And I have to like be very specific, make sure there's green lights. And the more I give it detail, the more it's kind of spitting out what I want. But I am still having to do a significant amount of work to get what I want to come out of it. I think that when I think about how I would have imagined ChatGPT being used, when I was in network marketing, the way that I would have seen it would be like, okay, I need to sell this dress. Write me a post about how to flatter your body if you are a pear shape, right? Okay, so I'm going to write that. Okay, so now ChatGPT writes it, and truthfully, ChatGPT does a pretty good job of writing these kinds of things, right? It'll write the text out very well. It's very readable. It's hard to tell that it's AI. The challenge is, and this is the exact same challenge I think the network marketers faced when I was coaching, and I haven't seen it change markedly over the years, is that the posts that we make, the things that we say, and the things that we do, like in terms of just getting stuff out there, is only one part of it. The other part of it is connecting those things together to develop the relationship that leads to a sale. So when we go to your method, Roxanne, your method isn't about, here, let me just throw up a whole bunch of posts, right? Your method is about, we're first introducing you to an idea, then we're learning a little bit more about you and building a little more relationship, and then we're going in for the sale. And in order for that journey to be successful, I have to understand the journey that a user goes on and the kinds of things they want to hear at any given spot. So that's going to require me to ask ChatGPT those questions with that knowledge. So you can't actually use this as a get rich quick. What you can use it for is as a writing partner, right? Where you work with ChatGPT and say, okay, write this out, and then say, okay, the next one that I'm going to need is going to need to say something like this. And you put them sort of in an order and see, what does that journey look like? Okay, I need to fix this first one, right? And that, it takes a lot more work, and I actually think that a lot of the templates that you offer are great starting points for this, because like you start with that template that then shows them this is the journey you need to take someone on, and then they can modify some of these things to then bring in their own products and bring in their own voice. But I think anyone who thinks that they're going to have ChatGPT go in and say, here, write me a post for this, post it, and then get sales, is just going to end up being crushed.
Yeah. I like what you're saying of how you're calling out that it's a writing partner. And I can talk to the sense of how I've used it, because I am not a good writer. My brain does not work like that. I can formulate what I want to say. I've got all these things, and then I go to write it and I'm like, hello, period. And so I've been using ChatGPT just as like literally a writing partner. I'm like, here's kind of what I want. Here's what I'm formulating. And it'll spit out something with like very nice words. And I'm like, wow. And I might not use the whole thing. I use bits and pieces, and then I'm able to kind of use it almost as a template and finish what I'm trying to say. And that's how I've really liked utilizing it. And yeah, you can't just plug it in and have it spit out everything and expect to get a sale from it.
Yeah.
There's got to be a human behind it.
Yeah. I think what you guys are both saying about being a partner is important. I think the other thing is understanding who you are, being self-aware, right? So if I'm a business and I have a really good understanding of my brand and who my people are, and I understand the journey that I want the customer to go on, I can put that inside of ChatGPT or whatever AI you're using and use it as a partner. But I also want to remind everyone, I guess I'm like curmudgeon today. I don't know why. You are a direct seller. There's a stigma attached to you. So some of the things that someone can say because they have their own boutique that is not attached to a network marketing company are things that you can't exactly say. You can't come around and directly ask for the sale in the same way that people who are not in network marketing can. It's just the way that it is. It's totally fine. It might bother you, but you know what? I'm Black and I'm used to it. So it's fine. So I just want you guys to just understand, we don't have to fight the system, just understand the rules of it.
Yeah.
So I don't know, and I don't know. So y'all can tell me, since you all use it, is there a spot where you can say, hey, I'm a network marketer. Could you just keep that in mind too when you write this for me? Thanks, ChatGPT. See you later.
I don't think it is that smart. No.
Yeah.
It's not going to know strategy.
Exactly.
Well, that's the thing. It's not going to be able to figure out the strategy. Like, you have to figure out the strategy and you have to understand that. So I think, and that's where a lot of like the human aspect comes into it, is that you've got to like be aware. And oh God, and can I just go back to what you said? I love that you said that, look, this is the way it is. And I think, and that it makes people angry. It does make people angry. Like, why is there this stigma? And everybody wants to change the world. And it's like, dude, that is a mission in and of itself. And if you want to do that, great. I actually support you 100%, but it will take away from you getting sales. Like, there is a price to be paid for standing on a soapbox and trying to change the mind of the world. if you, and that's fine if that's the direction you want to go in. But if the direction you want to go in is actually making sales, then the way that you were saying it, Roxanne, which is accept it, let go of the anger because it's not going to serve you. And then let's just move on and say, how do we navigate this with the knowledge of the system as it is, right? Like, okay, the system exists this way. What do we do? And like Taryn said, it can't do strategy, which is what I'm afraid that a lot of people who don't know any better will think that because ChatGPT, you know what it is? I know people with PhDs and MDs who think that because they have PhDs and MDs that they are smarter than everybody else in every other way, not just that, just the one, and it's actually a human bias that makes people think that, you're smart in one thing, so you must know all the things, which is not true at all.
Yeah.
The same thing is going to be true for ChatGPT, where people will look at it and think that just because it's smart enough to be able to spit out words that sound good in a sentence, that it's also going to be able to do the strategy work in the back end. And it's not that smart. It literally is just writing a paper for you.
Yeah. There it is. And that's because we look for the shortcuts. And honestly, when you join network marketing, you probably didn't join with a sales strategy. If you did, like, you're like a unicorn. Most people don't join with that. And so my concern is if you just jump to, I'm going to use AI, but you don't know the strategy, you're going to be wasting your time. What you're doing, you're wasting your time. You're totally wasting your time, and you don't know why it's not working. You're like, oh, I'm so quick. I just did it. I just spit out. I'm using ChatGPT. It's like, okay, but
that came off so spammy Tammy. And who cares if ChatGPT wrote it? It's still spammy Tammy.
Still spammy.
I put some in there and it'll spammy Tammy. And I'm like, I hope no one actually writes this. Like, delete that, ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Delete.
Be better.
Better.
I think that, one of the things that as we're talking is that I think that number one is, okay, so if someone is going to use ChatGPT, I think the first thing they need is like a framework and a journey around like, what do they want? Like, and I think that like your methodology is perfect because that's something that they can easily use, look and say, okay, here's exactly the path that I want people to go down. Use what you have to create stuff that sounds more like them. But then there's like an editing component of it. And there's also a same thing that you would do if, like, let's say you just took stuff that like, so if if someone's using social teams, for example, like I am, right? You'd make the post, you'd look at the analytics, and then you decide what you were going to do, how you're going to make changes. Otherwise, I don't think that changes with ChatGPT. I think you still do that and you still make the post, but then in the end, you still have to look at and say, okay, ChatGPT wrote this, great. What is it telling me, right? What am I learning from the metrics and the analytics? So like, I feel like it's not the silver bullet that everybody thinks that everybody is hoping it will be. And as such, I don't think it's going to be the taking over the world thing. Like we're worried about robots taking our jobs.
And that's happening. I believe that's happening.
I actually believe robots have already taken over our jobs. So
I'm a robot.
Well, I mean,
Makes
I am
sense.
Borg. No,
I am Roxanne. I'm saying it's my question. I'm like, Roxanne, I do. It's happening. Here's my question, though. Since we went down this rabbit hole, I hope you're happy with yourself, Minessa. It's not like we all are independently wealthy and go live on an island when we lose our jobs because the robots took it over.
Yeah.
So
there'll be another job.
What job, Taryn? What job?
Well, different jobs come in, like robot babysitter. Who needs, sometimes a robot may need a babysitter who's going to oil their joints. Like maybe.
So we're going to be slaves to the robots? Y'all want
that? Pay us a living wage?
I didn't say we wanted it, but.
Okay. So joking aside though, I think that I feel like it's slow, right? So for example, they have these little rice-sized granules that you can put in your skin. They're like RFID chips that you can put I want one that lets you put your credit card on and everything. It's like a little Apple thing, so I don't need to carry a wallet and I can just walk around. So I am
revelations. Keep going.
I am very, very into this idea of sharing my body cybernetically. And the reason why is because we're always evolving. Like if you had talked to the Neanderthals, they would have been devastated to find out that their species was going to disappear and that Homo sapiens were going to take over the world. But like, here we are, right? So, and we have Neanderthal DNA within us. So it's not like they died. They are dead, but their genes are within us.
Passed on, yeah.
So I think that like, there's a way of looking at it where the robots take over the world, but there is also a way to look at it where we see it as our own evolution, right? And we're evolving together into a space where beyond my capacity to understand, but I do feel like we're moving into like a more of like a space where there is a hybrid existence out there. I'm only sad that I'm probably going to be dead before it happens, because I feel like in probably about 50 years, we'll be able to just download our bodies. Now, my friend Peter, who is a pastor, we've had these conversations a lot, and our conversations go around, okay, so now let's say I download myself into my robot body, right? Is that me or is it a copy of me? Right. And so now we get into like a whole different conversation. So, but this is how I see it's going to go. I think you're absolutely right, Roxanne, but I don't think it's going to be like this hellscape. I think it's going to be more of an evolution.
Yeah.
Okay. So, wow. I love the fact that I know so many people who think so many different things. Let's celebrate that in a world where that is not often celebrated, where that makes people feel like, we got to fight. I don't know what's going to happen. I am glad personally, I need about 60 years left on this land, and then they can do whatever they want. They need to wait 60 years. I don't want any part of it, because what I know to be true is people don't respond well to change. So while you think it's going to be this like great, it's a utopia. Oh no, there'll be some type of civil war to make this thing happen. And I'm not here for it. I don't want war. I'm good.
That's a really good point.
That's a good point. I'm going to bring us back to how to use Chat GPT for network marketers. Is there a way?
We have Darren here to keep us on track.
We can use it successfully.
Buzzkill over here. Yeah, there is. It's learning the strategy. Don't just run off to the don't just mindlessly go to the machine and say fix me or give me my deets. You have to right now give it strategy. If you don't know what the strategy is, I mean, are you listening to the podcast? We give you the strategy. Like for real. For real. Yeah. Now, remind me, Minessa, I was going to do something, wasn't I? I don't remember. No,
what were you going to do? With what?
I was going to do a little something. Yeah.
A little demo?
Something AI-ish for y'all who do really want to use it, so that you use it in a. Now, I'm not going to show you how to use Chat GPT.
Oh, yeah. No. Okay. Yeah. We had talked about this on the phone where like I think was that like showing how to use like your social stories templates that you give them, how to leverage that. Cause like, think about this, right? They're going to get your social stories templates. This is freaking brilliant. Cause like they can get the templates, they can use the templates once, twice, thrice, cause they're templates, but they can then use the framework that you've already set out. Like you could have like maybe like a sheet that says, here's some prompts for each of these types of posts that we're talking about. Right. And then they can put those prompts in, but they still have to use. And honestly, you could actually probably do like an hour-long course that you sell then. That's like where you go through the process of showing with you and Taryn.
That's what we talked about.
Because I think part of the problem is going to be this, right? Is that, when you've been doing it as long as you have, you can, it's like a dance, right? So like let's say you're a dancer, and I'm not, but I've seen this, right? Where you have people who are they've been dancing their whole lives. They know all these different types of dances. And so they go into these dance competitions where then they're thrown in with a stranger. And then the two of them have to just dance together and figure it out as they're going on, and you see these people, and it's amazing watching people who've never danced together come, and they can do that just because they know the steps and everything so well that whatever is thrown their way, they can dive into it. And I think the problem that network marketers are all going to have is that you are all experts in your field. Like you sell Roden Fields, you sell LuLaRoe, you sell 30 what's it called? Scentsy, right? You sell those things. That's where or Athena, that's where you're the expert. So yeah, you might be able to dance the dance of here's the womanizer versus here is lube, but you may not be able to do the marketing dance as fluidly. Roxanne, on the other hand, can do that. You can do that marketing dance very fluidly. So you could dance. You can now show them the dance and say, okay, this is how you want to do it, so that people can then model what it is that you do. Because honestly, I think with ChatGPT, that's going to be the way to learn, because you don't know what you don't know, and we're always going to be motivated to put in prompts into ChatGPT that are things that we would think we need to put in.
Right.
And what really needs to go in there is what a marketer says needs to go in based off of where your customer is in the journey.
Yes. Yes. See, thank you. I'm like, it was a week ago. We talked, I said something and I don't remember what it is. So yeah, so that's happening. I'm marinating, but it's happening. I mean, listen, y'all are gonna do it. If you're gonna do it, I feel like I'm like, they're gonna have sex anyway, so they need to have protection.
You have become such a curmudgeon today. Like you're like, these kids today, they're gonna be in the backseat of cars.
So they need to be protected. So if you're going to do it, I'm going to help you so that you get it done right. Okay. That sounds great. Does that sound good? So
I think that sounds like a really great plan. I'm
right.
so glad we ended up having the conversation about ChatGPT. I didn't see it going that way that day, but wow, and I think it's necessary because it is taking the world by storm right now and it is gaining more momentum. And like you said, Roxanne, the kids are going to do it whether we want them to or not.
Yeah. Let's equip them. Let's educate them. Let's help them make the best decision to not produce
You're going to love
bad
it. Glove
social
it.
media
You're going to love it.
babies.
Glove it, people. Yes. So that's coming.
Awesome.
I'm sure that by the time that this is on, I'll have a little commercial in here that gives you the details if you want to be part of that and get all the deets. Yeah, there it is. Bada bing. So,
there it is.
Yeah. Minessa, you're always a good time.
Oh my God, you guys are always so much fun. In fact, the people aren't going to see this version of the podcast, but I just want you guys to know that I was so hyped up when I got here that we sat down and I didn't even give them a chance to get started. I was just like, okay, let's go. We started podcasting and they're like, whoa.
I'm like, whoa, slow your roll there, Missy.
Well, shout out Minessa. You have a podcast and that is how you start yours. Like you just roll. It's very like jump into the conversation and go.
I do.
Can we talk about your podcast for a second?
Yeah, sure. Let's talk about like, is this for real talking publicly or is this behind the scenes?
For real.
Okay.
Your podcast song makes my dog crazy.
Oh my God, that song. Oh my God, it's Telepathy by Character. It's a great song.
So I was wondering, does it make your dogs crazy? Do they it's like, there was this toy that I remember that my other dog, it was like this toy would make this noise. It was like a child toy and my dog would go crazy and it's the same music or the same tone as your music to your podcast and my dog's like, what's going on?
Oh my gosh, that song is so old.
It's so catchy.
By a band called Character, and they were one of my dearest friends when I was in my 20s. It was Sean, Og, and Seth, and they had a band called Lifestyle. And then Sean created Character with these two other guys. It was Sean and Ryan. So, and it was basically just, Sean is one of those talented artists who can just musicians who can he can create anything out of any music. And he's just brilliant. When I heard it in my 20s. And so I was looking for podcast music. And I've been looking for almost 2.5 years and I just couldn't find it. And then one day, Alex and I were on a trip and I randomly pulled out Character because I was just feeling like nostalgic and the song started and I was like, this is the song I've been looking for the whole time. And Sean was so sweet. I wrote to him, I was like, can I buy it? And he goes, don't be ridiculous. The song is I wrote it in 5 minutes, 30 years ago that I played at a concert. And my sister and I, they'd never had bras thrown up at them on stage. So when they played a concert, we were like 20 something, we took our bras and we left them unpinned so that we could fling them off and throw them on the stage. And one of our friends told us they still have the bra in storage.
Well, then, yeah, you should get the song if they have your bra. I think that's fair.
Awesome. It's Cyrus' bra, actually, not mine. So maybe you should get the song. But yeah, that song is amazing. If anybody wants to listen to, so Lifestyle is the name of the band my friend's band who they're actually playing in July. And the band itself is called Character, Karacter. All of their songs are like that. Like, seriously, they're so good.
Don't bring your dogs. Just saying. Don't do it.
No, bring your dogs. They'll lose their shit. It's awesome.
This episode is what is it? Explicit.
Oh, explicit. That's right. Shit. I mean, shoot. We don't swear on this podcast.
You can now. I'll mark it.
I did at the beginning. You're fine. Minessa, thank you so much. You're amazing.
Thank you so much for having me on.
Yeah, you can stay with us. We're gonna do the behind the scenes right now if you want to.
Yeah, no, I'll stick and stay with you. I got a little bit more time.
Do the behind the scenes. What's going on with you, Taryn? Behind the scenes.
You guys, I feel like I have nothing exciting the last few behind the scenes. Like I'm just thinking about like Roxanne's wedding and I'm like, I want to know about the wedding. Like
It's
who
true. That's
freaking
all I think
cares
about
about what
too.
I'm saying? Like I'm like,
That's understandable. I
yeah,
get that. That
I
makes
ate some
sense.
fudge, you know, life is good.
I spent
Did,
some time on your registry and I
oh,
was like,
you did.
I didn't know which one I wanted. So like I went and I was like, oh, I want to buy this. And then I was missing. I was like, should I buy and I wanted to buy your dinner set anyway. So I was like, it was too much pressure. So I had to stop and then think about it.
You don't
Because I
have
want
to
to
get
like, I want something where basically you think about me literally every day. I
Oh.
got a salt and pepper shaker for my
Oh,
friends
Lord.
Mel and Derek. And literally they messaged me and they're like, every time we use it, we think of you. I'm like,
Oh,
I want to do that to Roxanne, but she won't know that that's what I'm doing. I mean, now you do.
but now I know. You don't have
Now
to
you
do
know.
it. You really don't have to give me anything. 30
But I
days,
will.
y'all. I'm getting married in 30 days. In fact, in about 15 minutes, we meet with the chef to go over the menu. Since we've last talked, all of us, I got engaged. Oh, I'll be right back.
What?
What? She got engaged?
Yes, I've been trying. We were meeting before this today, and I was like, started the meeting. I'm like, okay, tell me about the engagement. And she's like, no, we have work to do. And I'm like, what? How
Wait,
dare
you guys
you?
haven't talked about okay, what are you
No.
showing me?
Okay, so sorry, because I was at the gym, so that's why. But here's my ring. I'm engaged.
Oh.
Hold on, let me get closer.
Oh my gosh, that's gorgeous. It's
Your-
so shiny.
Your left arm is going to be like so beefy because it just looks heavy.
You know
like,
what? I've been watching her work out at the gym. That's
Ugh.
why she's
Getting
been
ready
working
for it.
out is to
Yeah.
like, yeah, it's like with the muscles.
Getting ready
Just
for
the
it. Getting
best
ready for
arm.
it. Just one arm push-ups. So we went. I remember I said I knew it was gonna be that day. I just knew it was gonna be that day. So we went up to his doctor's appointment and then his haircut. And then we went to our place. It's like this restaurant that we always go to. They're called Granville, right next to Cedar Sinai, actually. And we're sitting there at the bar like we do, and we're talking. And by now I know. Well, first of all, when we're at the doctor's office, I went to put something in the trunk. I'm like, okay, the ring's not in there. Where's the ring? Where's the ring? And then I saw it in his pocket.
Now, did he know that you knew?
He didn't. I mean, he knew, kind of knew that something, but he knew. And because he's like, I did my makeup, my Trinity style makeup that day. And he was like, why are you taking so long to do your makeup? And the night before, I was up late trying to decide what to wear. He's like, why are you taking so much time trying to decide what to wear? So anyway, then he told me, he's like, it's at 7:00. I was like, okay. So I thought it was gonna be up in LA. I'm like, oh, we're doing something at 7. I'm like, okay. He's like, do you want to know what it is? I'm like, no. So we're sitting there and we're just having a special time. And I'm saying to him, I'm like, this is really our headquarters. Like this Granville is like our home base. He's like, why do you say that? I said, well, because when he got sick and was at the hospital, like at Cedar Sinai, I remember walking around during that week and I walked past Granville and I saw all these people at the bar. They have like a cute little bar or cool bar and all these people at the bar. And I'm like, isn't that so interesting that you're sitting, that like you could be sitting there having no care in the world, enjoying yourself at the bar while other people, as I'm walking by, are like going through is he going to live? Like, I don't know what's going on. It was no judgment on anything. It was just like a juxtaposition. I thought, oh, what it must feel like to be in there and not be worried.
Mm-hmm.
Fast forward to, he obviously was okay. But to COVID time, we had to go up there for his appointments. And when we went up to Cedar Sinai, they wouldn't let me in. They would only let in the patient. So he had like a 2-hour, like he was getting MRIs and stuff. And I'm like, and everything is closed because it's LA, right? It's Beverly Hills area. And I'm like, between WeHo and Beverly Hills. And I'm like, what am I going to do? So I was walking around and I'm like, okay. And I stopped by Granville and they're like, oh, do you have a reservation? I'm like, no. And they had like, you could only be there for a certain time, but the manager was so nice. Like, we'll get you in. So I was able to sit there and kind of do some stuff on my phone and they were so nice. And then I got like appetizers. Then after all his appointments, we went back and had dinner there and it was so good. And then like we started going there every time we'd come back every time we'd go up, we took his daughter there. It was like our jam, our place. So it's just been our place. And I'm like, this is like our place. And so we're sitting there and I said that and we were saying sweet things to each other. And he's like, I said, by the way, because he'd gone up to the bathroom at some point, I'm like, the ring's still in your pocket, right? And he's like, you saw the ring? I'm like, I just want to make sure it didn't fall out. Like it's a box in his pocket. Yes. I'm like, what do you think I thought that was? And he's like, well, if you see it, he's like, listen, it's in there. He's like, I want you to have it. And I want you to have it right now. I'm like, no, you don't have to get it right now. He's like, I want you to have it right now. And he said some really sweet things about me and my family and all. And then he gave me the ring. And I have to tell you, my hands were shaking. I was like, oh, and he was teary, although he says he wasn't, but I saw it. I know. And so we got engaged then and then canceled the little later thing. Cause what's the point? Like he was going to take me to Pelican Hill which is like a resort here. But that was our place. It was just right where it happened. You know what I'm saying? That was
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
It's like making the best out of something that's hard. And that's what marriage is.
I know.
No rough, no diamonds. No rough, no diamonds, people. So there's that. My dress fitting was so much fun last week. Oh my gosh, I had so much fun. The gang was back together. My original fitter, he was back. He's this big black dude. I love him. And he was there. And we just had a great time. So it was good. We had fun. And I got my lashes done to test the lashes.
I noticed, by the way, that your lashes were, I was like, I thought it was just me, but your lashes look amazing. They're so gorgeous.
Thank you. I'm getting used to them and then testing them, and then I'll get them done again when I go back to the bachelorette party. So I go back next week is bachelorette party. What else can I tell you? Things are just coming together. Things are coming together. That's what I got to tell you. So we're excited. And
it's gonna be so amazing.
It is.
So excited.
Like a dream.
I put it in my calendar so that I can watch you. I'll cry. I'll
Me
take pictures
too.
of myself crying and then send them to you, ugly crying.
Please do. I'd like some ugly cries. That would be great.
Karen and I can send ugly cries to each other.
It's happening.
I love it.
I'll be like shoving a kid out of a picture. Get out of here. I'm enjoying some love.
And I goofed. So if you go back, you can actually RSVP Minessa. Before I didn't have it turned on. Whoops. Thank you, Taryn. Taryn's like, RSVP. So the only person who's coming is Taryn now.
Oh, I didn't RSVP. I thought I had. I must have missed it.
No, you didn't miss it. It wasn't showing. That's how it works. Yeah. Now it's showing.
I put it in my calendar. That's, you know what? Because I was like, oh, and so I put it in my calendar so that I wouldn't miss it. But, and I love how the link just shows up to live stream it. So that was like, I found that to be very convenient.
Yeah. We meet with them next week, I think, to just finalize all that. So
exciting. You're so on top of everything. So organized.
I don't feel like it. Oh, the other thing I'll tell you is my sisters and my mom, they are like nutso hilarious about the decor for the actual wedding reception. And so like they keep buying all these different, I want cheesecloth. That's happening. They keep buying all these different colors and all these things. And like when I came home, they had it set up on the table to see if I'm not kidding. And they're like,
how cute.
So I'm like, we got to take pictures because when they set it up, and my sister and my mom were like, no, we're setting it up. I'm like, no, you're not. You're gonna be enjoying the wedding. There's a planner for that. No, we are no. They're like, what if it's wrong? I'm like, if it's wrong, it's wrong. Like, no, no. I'm like, y'all. So they're hilarious. I'm like, fine, whatever.
You're like, fine,
sure.
Like,
do what you want to do. That's fine, but it's gonna look really pretty. So anyhow, that's what I got.
Absolutely.
30 days.
30 days. And if you want to see my Instagram, Roxtalks, I will be talking about it for the next 30 days. So thank you, indulge, and like just deal with it. It'll be 30 days.
That place where you're having the wedding, holy shit, dude. Holy shit. Like I clicked on the link and it popped up and I was just like, I want to go to there. It's so good. Look, I live on a cliff on the edge of an ocean and I would rather leave here to go where you're getting married. Like that's how amazing. Like I was like, ocean, fuck this shit. I'm going to where Roxanne is. It is so nice. The water. Oh,
you're so sweet. We have gone.
You're doing do you have a couple weeks there, your honeymoon, or like
we're there for a few more days? We're gonna do a week total. So yeah.
Oh,
yeah, a whole month.
All right, got to go.
All right, guys.
Oh, it was so fun hanging out with you guys. Thank you so much for having me today. Let me know when the podcast drops.
Obviously,
you know I will.
I do know you will. Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.